Good morning, Bellas, Fells, and Keene, and welcome to the feed. It's Wednesday, October 18th. We're here with John Marston, and we're going to be talking about, lots of things, but mainly your upcoming cooking classes.
Yes.
Letting everyone know that you have some exciting new things happening this year.
We do.
Awesome. I'm going to go quickly over local events so we can get to the main discussion. The Bells Falls Opera House this week is Hocus Pocus, the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus. It is running from 10:20 to 10:24. That's definitely a classic movie. And speaking of classic movies, the classic movie this week, just in time for a holiday Halloween theme, is Beetlejuice. It's sponsored by Freedom Reigns out of Surrey, New Hampshire. Last week, I let you know about the BF Bike Project's soiree fundraiser. That has actually been canceled. So if you did purchase tickets, they will refund you the money, or you can have that be a donation to the bike project. But there will be an update when the soiree is rescheduled. On Saturday, November 4th, at the Bells Falls Opera House, the Logger is coming. He will be doing this as a benefit for Parks Place. And actually next week, we will have on our show Rusty Deweese, who is the Logger. And we'll be learning a little bit of the background to I'm always curious as to how the Logger came to be. Hopefully we'll find that out next week.
Right.
Happening on Saturday, October 28th, Ciao Popolo is having their first annual masquerade ball. Tickets are $75 in advance or $85 at the door. It's going to be a carnival-like atmosphere. There will be food, music, non-alcoholic beverages, and yes, you do need to wear some kind of costume. The Flatiron Co-op is doing a membership appreciation drive this weekend, and a membership appreciation and member drive. I am having a hard time talking today, John. Hopefully you're queued up, because I'm not doing good. That'll be on Saturday, 10/21 from 9 to 5. Okay, there. I just butchered that whole presentation. So let's get on to cooking classes. Cooking classes. How long have you been doing cooking classes?
Okay, so you asked me to give a little background on the cooking classes. So we've been doing them, I think, for 13 years. And the idea was based on a store that we had, Time to Cook.
Oh, right.
And we thought we'd do that in conjunction with the store. And we kind of did, but the cooking class kind of took off as a separate thing. And the first year, I think we did like 6, and now we're up to about 25 to 30.
That's crazy.
Which is a lot of fun. But this year, we decided, because after that many years, we would do something different, So over the course of the summer, I tried to brainstorm with myself about ideas. And I came up with ideas with no idea of what was going to be in that class, but I had the idea.
Would that maybe be like the Beat Bobby Flay class?
Beat Bobby Flay class was a book I was reading at the time. I said, well, let's do that. We can't do the show, obviously, but we can do and I'll get into what that class is about. But then we also did Girls' Night Out. In Girls' Night Out, I had no idea what that was going to be about. And I ran it by Leslie, and I said, we're going to do Girls' Night Out. And she said, what's that? And I said, so I Googled it, Girls' Night Out. And I can assure you, we're not doing any of what I saw on the internet.
Well, I imagine, yeah.
So, but we have finally come up with some content for that. But anyway, one of the things that I get asked mostly is, on the internet there are all kinds of blogs, cooking classes, master classes, all kinds of stuff. And there's all kinds of recipes out there, thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe probably millions. And what we try to do is I put a little bit of a subjective aspect to it, thinking about the people that are going to be sitting in front of me and what they're likely to do, what they really want to eat. And I kind of make that judgment. because one of the things I notice about some of what I see on the internet is it's things that
out there
you would never do. You would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
You'd never. I did one of the master classes I did, and I was on it for about an hour, and I instantly canceled it because it was not cheap, and nothing on it made any sense to me.
Do you find that, like, when it comes to a cooking class, that for the most part, people are just looking for inspiration, like that they can then take that home and add something to the never-ending routine of what am I going to have for dinner?
Right. Yeah. Oh, sure. But I also think, and we do this too, is, you have some ingredients and you just want to have a recipe that you can easily throw together. And so you go on the internet and you get a recipe and then you do that, right? But what we're trying to do is to help you think about what you are going to do for the week. So you kind of go to the grocery store with a plan, and then you can prep a little of it on Sunday afternoon or sometime that you have free. And so as that Monday, Tuesday, whatever night, or, maybe start with 2 nights a week, that you can quickly assemble something. And you don't have, you've had a really hard day, you come home, you pour yourself a nice big glass of wine, and then you go, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And I think that happens more often than
I think that happens 99% of the time.
Yeah.
What are we going to have for dinner?
So, so anyway, what we try to do too, I think a lot of people think that a cooking class is for an advanced cook, and it's not. We try to cover all of the levels, but keeping it pretty basic, and introducing an ingredient or two that's new, that's something that you would not think about. So, yeah. So that's, the internet is kind of a, it's a hodgepodge of stuff.
Well, what I find is, so it's great to go to the internet and get a recipe. And then, so you're cooking, you have to keep looking back at the recipe and looking back at the recipe. And there's still, even within knowing the ingredients and putting them together the way that the recipe tells you, there's also some technique.
Oh, absolutely.
There's also some, flair, I guess, for lack of, and that's what you get. That's what I take away from your classes is and I'm visual, so it's easier for me to watch as you're putting things together, and you always make sure that you have a recipe packet. You do a recipe packet. I think that's a huge. I'm guessing I'm not the only one out there that's huge for, to see you do it. Like you were talking about brown butter, making brown butter, which in theory, it's just butter that starts to turn brown, but to see it and to show in timing and all that is huge. It's huge to then, because that's one of the takeaways, and that's one of the things I can actually remember to do or know how to do now.
Well, we did a class a couple weeks ago, fall. I can't even think of the name of it, fall class. And we did corn risotto. And risotto is a thing that gets butchered on the internet because they're putting white wine in it, and they're making it much harder. I make it almost every night that we're open. I make risotto, and I can make risotto in 15, 20 minutes.
Which isn't what the usually you think of risotto, and I think it's a long process, so it's not interesting.
Risotto. And there's little tricks and techniques, and so technique is there's best technique. And then, so one of the things that I'm thinking about is Brussels sprouts. And people don't like some people don't like Brussels sprouts, largely because they cook it in water to, cook it through. But actually the best way to cook Brussels sprouts, and a lot of you probably know this, is to roast it. And so little
only because
things
I'm
like
lazy.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Goes quick. But so technique, ingredients. One of the things on the internet with ingredients is that all the blogs are looking for a click. I guess it's called clickbait.
Yeah. So
And
that they get their likes and then they get sponsors.
right.
And I don't know exactly how it works, but you're right. Yeah,
Right.
so they put some weird ingredient in there that people are going to click on it to find out what that ingredient is.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they make it so simple that it kind of offends your intelligence because they make it too, So what we try to do is, okay, that recipe is good, but it would be better were you to add this and that, which you can, we try to get ingredients that are readily available at a supermarket, which actually brings me right into Girls' Night Out.
Girls' Night Out, awesome.
Because people ask me about that a lot. And so Girls' Night Out is going to be a class where we start with a variety of craft cocktails that you can easily make at home. So you're not spending a lot of money on a craft cocktail. You're going to, I think we're going to do probably a half dozen little portions. So, and I hope you find one you really like so much that you say, yeah, I'll go out and spend X amount of bucks on
the liquor for this one.
On the liquors and the ingredients. Then we're going to do a series of easily prepared items for, say, you have a baby shower or a wedding shower, and you want to put together some really good things, but you don't want to spend a whole day doing that. So if you go into a supermarket, most people go into a supermarket, I think, if they're like I am, I know where everything is, and I just kind of walk around like a zombie and just pick up stuff, and I know, But like I was just at the supermarket this morning, actually, and I the things that you can make great meals with, things like raviolis, frozen or fresh raviolis. You can make a lasagna with that. So, with a meat sauce or just a canned tomato sauce, you can make, and cheese, you can make a quick lasagna.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then, egg roll wrappers or wonton wrappers. There's a ton of things you can do with that. So, what we're going to do in this class is show you how you can put together quickly some things that you wouldn't probably otherwise do. Then we have Beat Bobby Flay, which is another
I'm totally
class.
intrigued about that.
Right.
Because so what is the premise of the actual show? I mean, I've only seen it. You have to cook quicker than Bobby Flay or do better than Bobby?
Do better.
Do better.
So there's 3 rounds, and they're all quick timed rounds, and you've got an audience looking down, so there's pressure. And there are there's a bunch, but they're all chefs, and they're all doing things that they're good at, and they've done multiple times, so that they, pretty much it's kind of their forte. And that's why I like the format, because if you get the book, which is a good book, but the recipes are out of the ordinary, but not
crazy.
Yeah, they're
Are
not
they
crazy.
using regular ingredients or
Using regular ingredients.
So it's not like Chopped then, where they have
right? No.
Yeah.
And I don't even watch. I just watched this show because it's kind of fun, and but the idea here is that you have a recipe and you see 2 chefs coming at it from different angles with in some cases different ingredients, so you get that contrast in not only technique but in ingredients, and it's done in 45 minutes, so it's not all that complicated. And but I find and I've done a bunch of the recipes now, and most of them are very, very good. A few I thought were mitzvah, but.
So are you actually going to have a guest chef
No,
with you?
no.
How are you gonna do that?
All we did, the whole idea was the recipes.
Oh, the
themselves.
recipes. Oh, okay.
The recipes, because recipes are what we're doing recipes. And by the way, you get to eat the food.
Oh yeah, that's the huge part. So it's like going out to dinner and watching the chef cook, and then learning techniques that you can take home, and and being with your friends, and it's just a whole that's why it's cool that you're doing Girls Night Out, because it's such to highlight what the social experience is.
Yeah, and that's big actually. A lot of people have made friends through classes. They get to know people. A lot of people live in the same town they do, and they didn't know that person. Now they have met that person, and maybe a friendship ensues. But what was I going to say?
You're talking about Beat Bobby Flay?
Yeah, Beat Bobby Flay. So the recipes are, we're going to have a good time with those. Probably do, I don't know, we generally try to do 5 things. And then Leslie makes dessert.
Which delicious, by the way.
Which, by the way, in Girls' Night Out, she's going to do 2 or 3. She's going to demo them. You hear that, Les? You're demoing 3 desserts.
In case she doesn't know.
Well, she does know, but she's in denial. So, yeah, those are 2. Typically in the past we've done classes based on ethnic foods. So.
Yeah, that's why, because I've done your Mediterranean class.
Right.
I've done 2 different versions of your Mediterranean class. And that's the cool thing, too, is if you've taken your class 1 year.
Right.
And then you have it on the options again, and you go again, it's not necessarily the same.
Right.
So you're always changing and adding.
I have to. I got Terry and Chelsea there every week.
It's true. My sister do like to go to the cooking classes.
I talked with Terry the other day, and I said to her, we're going to do ceviche again.
Oh, she talks about that all the time, your ceviche.
and I said, but I that's Girls' Night Out. It's going to have ceviche. And so anyway,
and there's a small level of participation. I remember sometimes too, like we were doing. I think it was a class where you were doing vegetable rolls. Yep. So we got to learn the technique of actually rolling vegetable rolls. So it's not always just sitting and watching, but you get to participate, and so that's like a hands-on technique, right? So you got to really have. I
love that part.
Yeah,
because I don't have to.
You don't have to roll them all for the class. Everyone does their own.
I don't have to talk. I've got everybody else, and it becomes a real fun activity because everybody's encouraging everybody else along, and so we did. We did one class where they had to make something. I think it was working with phyllo dough. And phyllo dough can be a little bit tricky, and making a triangle and a little dexterity with your, making sure that, and some of the triangles come out a little different.
Not exactly, more like a trapezoid.
But yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, so
I was just gonna say, so you have your list, and like how far ahead, like you have men's night. Have you thought? Like you put it on the list, but have you planned that out yet, or is it kind of come organically?
Yeah,
like
it's a case
closer?
of beer
and hot dogs.
Give me ideas.
It's got to involve grilling. It's got to involve grilling.
Yeah. No, we did a men's night years ago, and I remember that class because it was a group of wives or girlfriends or whatever gave their significant other a class.
Oh, that's another good point, too, just to make sure we make that point, that you can do gift certificates for the classes.
Yeah,
because I have actually done that. I did that for some friends. I got them a gift certificate to go. So sorry,
well, it was just funny because these guys came in and I don't know, that the backyard barbecue type thing, but and they, a few beers,
And they learn some
like
techniques. There you go.
I used to teach school, and I always, you got to keep, attention spans can be small with a group of men, and so you got to keep things rolling along, and keep food in the mouth.
Nice.
That's not talking, but so we're doing a class on budget meals.
That I think is a great one, especially especially with the rising. I mean, I don't always pay a huge amount of attention to food costs because it is what it is, right? You can't do anything about it. But it's the food costs have definitely risen since 2020.
Yeah.
So.
And again, if you look at, sometimes you'll see chicken on sale for $1.99. So don't buy this week 6. Put 5 in the freezer. Now you get chicken for $1.99 as opposed to $3.95 or whatever it is. So that's going to be. And by the way, as a side note here, I would like to do classes for people between the ages of 14 and 20, basics, and it'd be a freebie. And if you've got a teenager that you think would benefit from learning, because I remember being in college and trying to cook rice, and I had no idea how to cook rice. And rice is not that complicated, but if you have no foundation in rice cooking,
it can be good. You can make quite a mess if you don't add enough water.
And it really is quite. So anyway, that is a class that I would like to do, and I just don't know how to get people to talk to their teenage kids and say, hey, you want to take class free, just go for a couple hours and you're going to learn something. So that's out there. And I don't know where it'll go. But then we do a homemade pasta class, which we did last year. And we used the dining room because we spread out everything so that everybody made pasta.
Oh, that's fun.
So because if you've made it, now you realize how easy it is versus watching me. So there is a hands-on class. And so we're going to do also burgers, and people think of burgers, hamburgers, but there's turkey burgers, salmon burgers.
I think I went to a burger class.
Did you?
I don't remember. I don't have the same memory I used to have, John.
Right.
So
No,
things
I
kind
don't
of
remember.
blend.
It's a good thing there's the internet, right? Or my computer. I can look back, but burger class is actually one of my favorite classes because there's so many black bean burgers. You can make burger with pretty much a lot of things.
I'm intrigued by you have a couple of versions of cooking for two, because that's a challenge sometimes too.
Oh, I think
cooking
it's
for one
a
and cooking
huge
for
challenge.
two, because
you don't want to cook too much.
Well, sometimes if you cook too much, then you're eating it for the next 5 meals, which is not a bad thing. I mean, granted, sometimes it's nice to have a little leftover, but it's hard. It's
yeah.
And again, so I think you probably can offer some very timely tips on that.
Well, now we have no kids at home now. And so it's Leslie and I, and neither of us want to cook on our nights off. But, you can go out to eat you can't go out to eat 3 nights a week. So anyway, we do that. And, there are things, because leftovers, can't do them.
I mean, sometimes, but...
Yeah, sometimes. But you can cook a protein and use it 2 ways. There are things that you can make, and I haven't thought about this a whole lot, but I think there are budget meals that, just off the top of my head, because I bought some this morning, was chicken thighs. Chicken thighs, which, if you have a slow cooker or a Instapot, I'm big on Instapot, you can put something in the morning. If you've got the ingredients assembled, you can throw it in the pot, put the timer on, and come home and dinner's ready. And by the way,
that's a good thing.
That is a great thing. Those Instapots are unbelievable.
Have you ever done an Instapot class?
No.
I don't know if
Because
that's practical.
surprisingly, I'm always surprised at how few people have them.
Oh,
And
interesting.
everybody thinks I have stock in them because
Talk about
I bring it up,
Instapots.
and it's.
I know somebody in the room that has one and doesn't really understand how to use it, so I've never used it. So just.
But I
throwing that out there.
I try to do one thing in every class that has
Instapot?
an Instapot.
Oh, that's good.
And because it can be a little intimidating to use
Well,
it.
that's the thing. Like a crock pot's pretty straightforward. You dump it in there and you push the button.
Right.
The Instapot, there's a few more things.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're down to about a minute.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Right.
We're running out of time.
Sure.
So the list of classes is on your Facebook page.
Right.
And they run from November 6th through March 25th. So you got plenty of time.
Right.
You need to give, it's up on the screen. The best way is to call that number and to
Right.
sign up.
Yeah. And if you don't have Facebook, call Leslie and she will take a picture of the schedule and then text it to you. So,
Awesome.
you don't have to mess around with Facebook. Hopefully we'll have this on Instagram and our website,
Nice.
which is lesliestavern.com.
Right, because it gives the talks about the classes, but I didn't have the
Yeah, well,
websites are a lot harder to get updated quickly.
Well, my son does it, but he's in Montana. But anyway, he'll do it, I hope.
So we'll just remind everybody that they are usually Monday and Tuesday nights, right?
Right.
Monday and Tuesday nights. Call to make sure that you get into the class because they do sell out.
Right.
You can do gift certificates
Yep.
as a gift, which makes a wonderful holiday gift.
Yep.
If you're doing a Yankee swap, I can guarantee you that's one that's going to be swapped around a
Yep.
lot. And then you're always open for dinner Wednesday through
No, Thursday through
Sunday. Because that's an option too. Oops. So that is it. We have run out of time.
Okay.
So
sure.
we'll say goodbye, community.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Thank you for having me. Bye.
You're welcome.